Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today in this latest customer webinar. I'm Warren Butler, Director of Marketing here at Preact, and I'm joined by our pre-sales consultant Martin Prosser, who will shortly provide an overview of Power BI. In this presentation, we'll be looking at how Power BI enables organisations of all sizes to extract actionable insights from their data using interactive visuals. We'll be taking a look at some of the out-of-the-box Power BI templates and how to pin live dashboards to the Dynamics user interface. Martin will also demonstrate examples of interactive Power BI visuals for the Dynamics Sales Hub and Customer Service Hub. We'll also cover a new feature that enables Power BI visuals to be instantly created directly from a Dynamics view. After the main presentation, we'll be on hand to answer your Power BI questions. Whether you're new to Power BI or if you've already got some experience in using Power BI reports, we hope you find this session helpful. After the event, we'll email a link to the recorded presentation, and you'll also be able to access this via the Preact web portal. Before getting started with the demonstration, let's begin by summarising some of the CRM reporting challenges and frustrations that organisations can encounter. Firstly, there can be a limitation in using the native charts and dashboards in Dynamics. These can be simple to create, but depending on specific reporting needs, these visuals or lists might not provide sufficient flexibility or scope for customization to present data the way that you want it. Organisations may also encounter delays when compiling reports, especially if Dynamics data needs to be extracted and combined with other data sources. For recurring reports that are needed each month or quarter, this may involve manual, time-consuming processes which leads to reporting delays, and that means that decision makers end up being behind the curve and reacting to situations. Further issues can also arise if individuals aren't able to access the analytics that they need on demand from their mobile phones. With so much data collected in Dynamics and other systems, there's a risk that teams can feel overwhelmed by all of this data and easily miss critical insights and really struggle to capitalize on opportunities to extract more value from their data. Depending on how reports are currently compiled and shared, these processes could also present security risks, especially if they involve exporting data into spreadsheets or sharing sensitive data in PDFs or PowerPoint decks. These are all challenges that Power BI addresses by enabling organizations to modernize their reporting with secure, real-time interactive visuals. But while Power BI is a well-established solution, it may seem daunting to new users who are unsure how to get started. However, as we'll highlight, Microsoft has recently added some new functionality which does make Power BI more accessible to Dynamics users. And at the end of the presentation, I'll also talk about some of the ways that Preact can help you in creating your data dashboards and visuals. So, to take a closer look at Power BI, I'll now hand over to Martin.
Excellent, thank you, Warren. I just thought I'd start by explaining what Microsoft Power BI is. It's obviously part of Microsoft's Power Platform. Power BI stands for Power Business Intelligence, and it's a collection of software services, apps, and there are numerous connectors out there on the market. They don't have to just be Dynamics, products or Microsoft products. There are numerous, I think there's a few hundred last time I checked, connectors, various different sort of reasons that you might need to connect into various different data sources. But in turn, they all work together for bringing all of that unrelated data into a nice sort of coherent, visually immersive and interactive insights. These reports, obviously, they can be quite important for most businesses, and they can be shared with anyone or everyone if you need them to be as well. Power BI will allow you to embed these reports into Dynamics, if you're already familiar with Dynamics, which most of you on the call will be. Allows you to store these as dashboards. You can also have these pinned in Microsoft Teams if you're already using Teams. Just to show you the three elements of Power BI, we've got Power BI Desktop, which is a Windows desktop application which we can use to build reports and visualize reports as well. There's an online SaaS service. This is the Power BI service, and then obviously there is a mobile app as well. So again, depending on how you want to use Power BI, how you want to visualize it, where you need to look at your reports, whether it's on a phone or on a desktop, you've got these 3 different options to basically use at your disposal. So just going into the actual Power BI itself, I'm looking at the Power BI service. This is obviously online. It's part of the Microsoft waffle. You can see here it's Power BI. Within Power BI, you've got different workspaces where you can sort of segment some of your data. You can see I've just got sales, marketing, service. We're going to come on some of these as well, or you can create your own workspaces. If we just go into, say, one of these, say marketing, there are some really nice, if anyone on the call is familiar with Dynamics for Marketing, there are some nice templates that you can use. This one here, you can see there's a nice gallery of Power BI reports and templates. So you can pull some of these into and connect it to your own Dynamics marketing instance. If you was to do so, for example, like this that I've done here, I've created a marketing workspace. You get a data set, a report, and a dashboard. It doesn't have to just be for the marketing side of things. This can be from anything. Down here, you can click Get Data. You can go and click on Samples, and you can put a nice sample Power BI data set into your own Power BI platform and connect it to your own existing opportunities as well if you need to, like so. Equally, if you want to start from scratch, you can click over here, click Create, and as you saw on that other tab, you can see there's a nice area here for on the Microsoft sort of website called Data Stories Gallery. You can go through these and sort of maybe see a few ideas of a few reports that other people have created. You can filter this by sort of different types of reports as well. Might give you an idea into going, oh, actually that's a really cool report. Let's look at trying to build something like that. Whether you build one from scratch or whether you connect it to an existing data set, like this one here, I could go into this email marketing report, for example. See, I've got all the different pages over here. This is just what's come down. This is what the report gives you off the shelf. I could take this page, for example, email sending timeline. I might want to bed this into a live dashboard in Dynamics. I don't want to have every single page. I don't have to. I might just take this individual one here. I can simply go over here, pin to a dashboard. I could pin it to the out-of-the-box dashboard that come with this report, this template, or I could simply go over here and create my own. I could just call it whatever I want to call it, marketing timeline or something like that. I click pin live. Once you've created anything in here, you've created your report, you can pin any of these pages of a report to a live dashboard. I can then simply go into, this will obviously be a live dashboard over here now, again under my workspace. You can see over here, if I just expand this, I've got works, you can see here, look, now I've got a dashboard, I've got that other dashboard there, there's my report, there's my data set. If I come into Dynamics over here, and I go into my dashboards area, you'll see a list of all your dashboards, but if you want to obviously embed Power BI dashboards, you can simply come up here and go Power BI dashboard. You can then go and find that report that you've got. So I'll save that into marketing workspace. The marketing timeline is now in here as a live dashboard. I can simply save this, click OK. Provided I've got Power BI Pro license, I can now embed this, and then I could share this to my colleagues and they can do equally the same thing. Again, I could go into that report and I can pin more than one of these pages, and then I can have a nice scrolling live dashboard in here as maybe my home screen, for example. You can then mess around with the data and slice and dice to your heart's content, and you can see the information on here. There are a few off-the-shelf dashboards now that come with some of your licenses, whether that's sales or service. One of these over here is sales usage reports. You need sales enterprise licenses or sales premium licenses for this. What this will give you is a nice sort of lead usage report, an opportunity usage report. You can see it's pre-canned, so it allows you to filter by date. You can see in here last or next, and I can filter this by how many months, years, weeks or days. And we can filter this by individual manager if we need to. individual user as well if we need to, by role, by business unit, and it will just give you, obviously it's just my demo environment, so my data's not great, but if you connect this to your own, hopefully you can see that there'll be more than one lead qualified. Your conversion rate should hopefully be a bit higher than this, but you can see it will give you a few analytics around lead usage report. We've got opportunity usage report as well. Again, very similar, so it's looking at last 1 year, opportunities converted, conversion rates and things like that. You'll get this sort of Power BI embedded report off the shelf. There aren't too many reports off the shelf for lead reporting. We'll just come over here to dashboards. We've done a few sort of lead reporting dashboards ourselves for some of our sort of existing clients. And if this is something you're interested in, absolutely get in touch. If there's not something out there that you think you could use or build yourself, something like this might be useful. Lead reporting, you know, conversion rates, qualification rates, one count, lead count. Down here we can see by region, we can see, you know, by activity type, we can see all of those open activities that are custom and linked to these leads as well. Again, you can slice and dice this based on users if we need to. We can effectively, if you're working in the Sales Hub, build some reports around leads. We've got the sales usage reports in there for leads and opportunities. There's also Deal Manager that comes with, again, a sales enterprise license. You can see if I click into the Deal Manager, this is another embedded Power BI dashboard that we get off the shelf, the sales licenses. Obviously it's looking at my default view, which I've got set to be an open opportunities. It just gives you a little insight into some of these sort of, you know, these visuals, these bubbles. So if I hover over one of these, it's telling me how much money I've got estimated revenue at that close date. Obviously, you know, down the line here, I can see again how much money I've got there again based on the estimated close date. Number of won deals is 0, number of lost deals is 0. Again, it's relative to the view that you're on. Because I'm on open opportunities, I'm not going to see this. If you need to change and tweak these sort of like these large numbers at the top, like the filters and the sort of aggregates, these metrics, we can simply come over here. You can see edit metrics. So if I want to see total deals, I don't want to see lost amount, I just untick that and I tick that one. I then say, okay, great. I could then go and create a new metric that I want to roll up as well. Like so, find the field and then say, what is it? What is the aggregate? Is it a sum of, could be budget amount, for example. We've got budget amount in here. Let's just do the sum of, and just give that a name. Budget amount. There we go, like so. And apply that. Now I could tick that, and I come out of this. You can see I've now got the sum of the budget amount for all of these underlying opportunities that sit in this view. So we can see there's totally 197, budget amount is X, pipeline value is X amount as well. You can go in and filter this as well. If you click on the filters, you can add your own filters to this and specify probabilities, estimate revenue or close dates. Again, mess around with that. You'll see if I change the view on this to say all opportunities, this will obviously now have some more relevant data. So budget amount is the metric I've just added. We've now got 48 lost deals in there, 91 deals, and again that would be based on this date range, which I'm saying is every single opportunity. It might be that you've already got a filter on this view for opportunities and you wouldn't need to then apply a filter here. And then over here you've got the sales funnel as well. So this will tell me, again, apologies, this is my demo environment. These are all the different sales stages I've got. Looking at this, I've got the most money sitting at opportunity stage 4, which is close. There's 34 opportunities that total 99 million at that stage. Once you look at this though, you can see obviously with your own live data, you'll see how this can be quite relevant. If you don't want to use the bubbles, you can quite simply come up here and just go back to say list view, and that will just show you again the underlying sort of opportunities with the metrics at the top as well with the aggregates. So those are the sort of Power BI reports we've got that come with sales. We've also got one over in service. So I'll just flick over here to service, go into the customer service hub, and what we've got in here, we've got 2 pre-canned Power BI reports. So you can see just under insights. So again, if you're licensed for customer service, you'll have these 2 under the insights here. So what we've got initially is this customer service historical analytics Power BI report. Very similar to in the sales side where you can see we've got, you know, based on duration, it will show us the report. So We set the filter parameters like so. See, there's a few KPI insights. It's telling me there are a number of cases, active cases, and we can filter this by channel, agent, time zone as well if needed. Average survey sentiment, again, this is tied into us sending case feedback at the end of a resolved case. Top 10 topics, and it's telling us the channels they've come in from as well, so we can see how many cases have come via phone versus email, and then a few other sort of case metrics at the bottom. So how many resolved, escalated and cancelled, again within this period that we're searching for up here. This is obviously the summary tab. We've got the agent tab over here as well, so we could filter this again by different agent, and it's telling us again a few key insights. So Mark's has a higher active cases, and he also has a higher resolution rate of cases, whereas he also has a lower CSAT score. Again, it's just looking at your sort of analytics based on your agents. And then we've got the topics. Looking at this, we've got probably more cases for 3D printers than we have, say, issues with payments, for example. You can again see your compliance rate if you're using SLAs and things like that. Over here, we've got knowledge analytics. Again, very similar if you're already using knowledge-based articles in the system, based on this count over here. Again, weeks, months, days, years, whatever filter you can. Again, apologies, this is just a dummy database. It's not a live database. But if you look at this in your live, this will obviously be more relevant data. Just looking at your engagement rates, your search rates, how many times people have searched for a knowledge-based article within that period. And then over here, you've got your article insights, which would tell you like individual articles, how many times they're viewed and how many times they're linked to cases and other things as well. So if you're actually using these quite actively, it might give you an insight into which knowledge-based articles are being used and adjust accordingly if needed. The good thing about these reports is you can go in and edit these reports, and then if you want to pin this into your dashboards area as well, we can. So it doesn't have to just sit over here in Customer Service Hub. If you've got a user that's sort of in sales and service, they don't have to keep flicking into here to see this. Then equally, over here, if we go into dashboards, I've just pinned mine. I think I called it Customer Service. There you go. So I've taken that embedded report that's in the system, and I've just embedded it in here into my overall sort of dashboards area, which we can do. You'll see how that's relevant data. So again, if other people have got read-only access and people have got this, there's no reason why we can't pin this and share this dashboard across departments if we need to. So those are the sort of pre-canned Power BI reports that you should hopefully start seeing now within Dynamics. And then the last thing that you can also see is you can create your own from a system view, and you can visualize the data accordingly. So I'll just show you on accounts, for example. You can see we've got this thing that says visualize this view. On any of the tables, if you go to cases, visualize this view. This is a setting that needs to be turned on. It's not enabled by default, but once you turn this on in the app, you should see the Power BI visualize this view option in the ribbon on all tables within that app. If you go to any view, just pick a view, you can see I've got a few columns in here: name, number of employees, actual sales, industry, relationship type. What I can do based on sort of these 44 records in this view, I can visualize it just by clicking visualize the view here, and it will start compiling the data. You can see loading the data. It will give us a few reports that it believes could be quite useful. Done over here, you can see number of employees, relationship type. It's giving us a few of these visuals. So we've got a nice one here, number of employees by relationship type. I can see there's 14,000 employees that work in the investor sector. There's obviously not as many in the partner and not as many as in the customer. It will give us this nice little insight down here. Investor accounted for 28% of the sum of employees across all 7 relationships. Some bases ranging from 35 to 14,000. It's based on the data we've got in those 44 columns. If you want to see the data that's presented within the report, we can click show data table here. It will give you then that view, that system view that we've exported from essentially. It will show us down here the name of the view and obviously those columns that you've got within that view. So if you're looking at this, you can physically then see the data, and you can drill down into this if you need to. Obviously, if I want to add to this, I might want to say, okay, give me count of rows. I can simply tick this and it'll give me a few more visuals here. It's now going to give me the number of accounts in this view. So I can see the view here. I can now see there are 44 accounts in this view. Some of the visuals aren't great. You can see obviously number of employees by relationship. Again, I might want to make that slightly different. I can click on the little visual here. What it will show me is, number of employees by relationship. See again the 14,000 here, and you can see this is because it's showing me a clustered bar chart, relationship type, number of employees. Now I could change this. Instead of doing the sum of, I could say show me the average. So let's just go, I don't know, average here. So it'll tell me on average, investor is around 4.7 thousand per account. Equally, I could say show me the medium. I can mess around with this. I could change the type. So I could change the bar thingy in here. I could change that to be something like that. Again, I could do anything I want to in here. I can mess around these visuals, and as soon as I'm happy, I can come off of that. I could come into this one, for example, and I could say industry sector. I want to remove that field. You can see now I've got number of employees, sum of. I could change this chart to be a big figure like so. So out of every single one of these 44 accounts, in total, these 44 accounts have got between them 49,000 employees. By coming into each one here, you simply change the visual you're looking for, and then you can see the X and the Y axis. You've got your legend here as well. You can either remove this field and then re-add another field. So if I wanted to remove this, I simply click add field. You can then see it will show me any of those tables. Again, I could pick go relationship type. Again, you can mess around with it. You can then see obviously if this is a sum of, it's using like the calculated field here. You can see the little icon on the right hand side. Then you can do minimum, maximum, as you can see, counts, variances and averages. It's just really messing around with the data that you believe might be quite useful. Once you're happy with this, if you really want to save that, this is a one-off visual. So you'd just be able to take a screenshot of this now if you need to, maybe send that to somebody. If you want to save this for future reference and embed this as a new dashboard like we did earlier, you simply click save here. You can then see, okay, what workspace, so those different workspaces we were talking about earlier. If I just put this in my workspace, I might want to call this my key accounts, something like that. Click continue. We'll create the dashboard. There you go, my report is now saved. Hopefully, today's been quite useful. We tried to keep it very high level, not too technical. Obviously going to hand back to Warren now, and then I believe we're going to have some sort of Q&A questions at the end. Over to you, Warren.
Great, thank you, Martin. So let's summarise why organisations choose Power BI to meet their reporting needs. Well, firstly, it's part of the Microsoft Power Platform, so it provides native integration with Dynamics 365. As Martin mentioned, there are numerous pre-built Power BI connectors with popular products and services, as well as support for custom connectors, which means that it simplifies reporting processes where there is a need to combine data from various sources. Through interactive visualizations, Power BI helps everyone discover actionable hidden insights from their data, which are accessible on demand wherever people work. That helps to create a data-driven culture where teams and individuals can confidently make decisions using up-to-the-minute analytics. We haven't covered security in detail in this presentation, but it is important to add that Microsoft is a trusted industry leader for security and data encryption, and it uses consistent security across Dynamics, Azure, and Power BI that ensures that analytics data is secure. And finally, Gartner has again named Microsoft and Power BI as the market leader in its latest Magic Quadrant for Analytics and Business Intelligence. We hope you found this presentation helpful, and it's perhaps highlighted how your organisation can make greater use of Power BI, or it's encouraged you to explore this further. I talked earlier about getting started with Power BI, and our team can certainly support you with this. Using our Elevate 365 managed service, you can schedule Power BI training that will help everyone increase their knowledge and confidently create and customize reports. We can also help you by creating specific Power BI visuals. This will start with an initial assessment to define your requirements, and following this we'll go ahead and build your reports. If you want to modify an existing report and you need assistance in making these customizations, we can help you with that too. We'll pause in just a moment to respond to your questions, but please do contact us if you would like to discuss any new reporting requirements or if you're interested in organising a Power BI training session just to improve your reporting and uncover those insights. Thank you for attending, and Martin and I will pick up your questions in just a few minutes.